All right, and welcome back to part three. In part three, this is a lab demo using Packet Tracer, where the focus will be in the physical connection of all the different type of devices. I'm going to start all the way down here by this two server that I have at work. Just to show you a little bit how this network is probably designed. We have a work area, which is right here, all right, and we have your ISP, internet service provider, right here, and we have work or home right here. So we need to physically somehow physically connect all these devices so we can branch. So from home, an end user can go over the internet and access his work. All right. So first, let's go and wire all the devices. Click on copper straight through cable. Click on the server. You can go to fast Ethernet. Go to switch. You can really use any available port. I'm going to use fast Ethernet 2 over here. Bring it down a little bit here. Next, I need to wire the switch to what do you call it? To the router. A straight to cable will do. Will be a good thing. I'm going to use gigabit. Go from gigabit in the switch to a gigabit on the router. By the way, this lab that I'm doing, it's very similar to the lab that you guys will be doing for assignments. Now I need to connect router to router. Watch how I use copper straight through cables here, twisted pair here and here. I'm going to use a different type of cable between the router. I'm going to use serial connections. If I want to do that, I need to use this type of cable. You can see a serial cable. Go to the router, use a serial 00, go to router and use serial 00. So this is completely different type of cable. Now I need to connect the router to the ISPs. To connect the router to the ISPs, I think I'm going to use I'm going to use a serial. It's using serial too. I do have a couple options. I just have to use one, pick one. Well, in this case, I'm going to use the serial connections, all right, and go into the router and use a serial 001. All right, now my work will communicate with the ISP using serial connection, which is something that we do all the time. Now home, we don't have a very expensive routers. We don't have serial. This is really more expensive. A router may go into thousands of dollars, and you may not have the thousands of dollars standing by. So there's a good chance you may be using a modem. And now let's connect. You communicate with your ISP, internet service provider. This could be Cox Communication, could be Xfinity, AT&T, whatever, whoever you pay money to access internet. So I'm going to go here, since this is a coax cable, right? That's probably how you may get in your connection. I'm going to go and find a coax cable right here. It's a blue. By the way, there are other means. I just want to show you different type of cables out there. Click on the go to coax cable right here. I can definitely use that. All right, and do that. Let me see if I can use Ethernet 6 instead. If I want to use Ethernet instead, you need a straight through cable. Go to cloud, click on Ethernet, and hope you have an Ethernet cable on your modem. Click here, and yes, there's a port 1, and port 0 is a coax cable. I'm going to use a port 1 instead. All right, now we need to connect your wireless access point to your modem. How we do that? This is usually a straight to cable. I'm almost positive by now you have figured out, like I told you in the lecture, most common used type of cable will be straight to cables. Click on the router. We're going to go to Ethernet. We click on here, and we don't have a port. If I connect the port over here, I'm going to get an error. And friend, I said, no, this is not the port. So we're forced to go back. I'm going to escape. Go back, remove that cable that we used. All right. Then use coax cable instead. Click here. Click here. We can use a coax cable. We can back to the modem. And now we can use port 0. Now coax cable is used, which is it's common and it's used. Next thing, we're going to use a straight to cable to go from your modem, port 0, go to your router, and we go to the internet over here. All right, so in here what we did, we have wireless and we have wired. I already configured it ahead of time. You can see that this computer is connected and is getting an IP address. Before it was using 2, it may change. It's 0, 2. So I'm going to go ahead here. It's not 2. It is 0, 2. Now, this device is here. There's two computers. You're going to use wired. And how they're going to get this IP set, I'm just guessing over here. I think since we did that, there's a good chance it's going to be some kind of 0 over here. I may change it. And by the way, how do computer get IP addresses? There are two ways that they get the IP address. They can get their IP addresses by network administrator assigning an IP address statically. And I'll go ahead and do this one. All right, I'll go here and type desktop configuration. I'm doing static IP or DHCP over here. Let me go and do, you know what? I did static a couple times. I want to do something different. I'm a little DHCP, and if you want, I'm going to do this one. I'll do DHCP. That's how we get in our IP address. That's how we're going to get it here. I'm going to copy this because I'm going to do copy C, V over here, and also N and V, N, then V over there. So this devices are using IP addresses using DHCP. And here, if you want, I'll do, here we're going to use static IP if you want, static IP. I'm going to copy this one, Control C, and go here and paste it again. So I'll show you here, we're going to get an IP address static, but here we're going to get it dynamic. So what I need to do is connect this incident. By the way, just to show you that this computer does have an, what do you call it? You can see here, this is an antenna. This is a wireless, what do you call it, interface. That's how he was able to communicate with the wireless access point. By the way, this guy here is your wireless access point right here. You home, you may have your wireless access point and your modem as one single device. One single device. All right, so put this one over here. So I'm going to go ahead and wire these devices. We'll grab a straight through cable, click on the first computer, go to fast Ethernet, point out to the router, and I do have space. I have gigabit, which is good. So connection is established, and we're going to figure out what IP we got later. I'm not sure if it's going to match what I have over here, but I need to change it if I have to. I will change it if I have to. Fast Ethernet 1. Now this is going. At this time, what it's going is going to a process of getting an IP address from a DHCP. Later in your career, you're going to learn about this process, and this process is known as DORA. We're going to do it later in your networking, which stands for DHCP discovery, DHCP offer, DHCP request, and DHCP acknowledgement. Again, later in your career, we'll do it. This computer looks all green, meaning it got an IP addresses. Let's go and see what IP address did it get. I'm going to go down here. If it gets one, go to command prompt and type ipconfig. And it did not get an IP address yet. Again, I am not going to go on. This is not the class about it. Talking to configure DHCP. Just to show you, it's if I click here, and you go to graphical user interface, and you can see here that is a DHCP is enabled 192.168.1.1, and let me see, it's signed in 10 IP addresses. So it should really give an IP addresses. Well, figure out later. It's not important now if you didn't get it. So you can see as soon as I save it, something else happened, it disconnected. So I'll come back to this side later. So we talk about a physical connection. This side is need 10.0.0.20, and this is going to be static. To do that, I'm going to click on desktop and then go to IP configurations, and we'll type over here 10.0.0.20. And it's going to be class A, which is good. I'll hit close. And this guy is going to be 10. So again, we're assigning a static IP address over here, the desktop IP, and that's going to be 10.0.0.20. And it's class A2. We close over here. All right, it turns green and it's talking. The IP address, the router, as you could see, has two IP addresses, has two interfaces, has one interface over here and another interface over here. So both of them really would need an IP address. So I'm going to start here, find out which one is this one. I'll take this one. We have 00 and 01, and I'm guessing the one that is connected here, it's 00. So I'm going to go ahead and try it. I'm going to go here and the router. By the way, since I want to show another connection, so I'm not going to do it from the router. I'll show you how we can use a computer using a different cable known as a console to the router and configure the router without going to it and click on it. Here is a console. It's kind of a greenish color if you want, or greenish. When you click on it, I'm going to go to the admin PC and I'll go to RS-232, then click on the router, use a console port, and now I have just established a console connection to the router. If I want to configure this router, which I'm going to do right now, I'm going to click here, all right, and I'll go into the desktop. By the way, I am in the computer here, and I'll go to terminal, and I'll hit OK. And you can see the router is booting. It's a little too small. I'm going to try to change the preferences and make it a little bit bigger. Hopefully I can do that. Let's see. I just did it not too long ago. And this process is being used from the font over here. I'm going to make it a little bit big. Maybe 14 is better. 14. Okay, and in command line, I'm going to make it 13. Hopefully we don't break anything. Hit close. Everything got a little bit bigger and better. I'm hoping, because I'm recording. All right, so far the area have moved a little bit, but not big deal. We still see everything that we need to really see. All right, so I said I am here, and I'll click on terminal. I hit OK, and hit enter. Now, as you can see, we are logged into the router, and we can configure the router as you want. Both of interface are down. So I'm going to do quickly. I'm going to do en for config, do config t, and I'll do int g0/0. I'm guessing this is the IP over here. This is the interface right there, and I'll type IP address. I'm assigning an IP address, and it's going to be 10.0.0.2. It should be 10.0.0.1 really. So I'm going to do that 10.0.0.1, and it's going to be 255.0.0.0. All right, and make sure it stays up. I'll type no shutdown if you want. All right, and you can see it's coming up. It's turning green. Oh no, it's the right one here. So sorry, I'm going to change this one to a 1. Now we need this interface up over here. All right, so again, go to same thing. That one I think is 1. Go int g0/1, and I'll type IP space address, and I'll type 172.0.31.0.1 and do space 255.255. This is class B. That 172.31.0.1. Hit enter, and I'll type no shutdown, and you see it's going to come up to in a second. It's going to come up to once this one comes up to too. All right, so we have configured this one. Now we're going to need to do, we're going to move to the next router. All right, I can use the same console if you want, which I'm going to do, as you're going to see. I'm going to click on an X over here and move the console port from here and move this computer if you want. Right here's an admin, so you can move with it. You can take it anywhere you want. And you use a console port again. Click here, go to RS-232 for console, click on what we call it, use console again, and configure this interface over here. I'm going to click on it. I'm sorry, I need to click on the computer. Click on the computer, go to terminal, hit OK, And as you see, I am now, or we are now parked at this router that is all red. As soon as this router turns on, this one comes up too. So we're going to do en for enable. We're going to do config t, and we'll do int g0/0. Hit enter. I'll type IP address according to what we have over here, which is 172.32.31.0.2, and it's class B 255.255.0.0. Don't worry about classes and IP addresses. We have a whole chapter where we're going to go over classes and IP addresses. So we have enter right now, and I need to bring it up because it's still down. So I need to type no shut for no shutdown. Hit enter, and it's going to turn green in a second. It's turning up. Okay, and I need to configure this one up here. Do the same thing. The int g0/1. Hit enter. I'll do IP space address, and I'll do 74.10.10.2, and it's 255.0.0.1. I'm sorry, 00.0. We can hit it. This is IP over here. IP over here. Hit enter, and make sure we do no shutdown. No shut. Hit enter. So this interface is coming up. I made a mistake. It is not the gigabit that I'm using here. I'm using the serial instead. So that's a mistake that I made. That's why it stays red. So I'm going to go back to the router, go back to the serials, interfaces, go to config. I'm just going to take down. So I'm going to go back gigabit 0 to just configured 01. So 01 I gave it. I will turn off the 01. I'm not using it. All right. And I did the same thing here too. Config. I'm going to go into gigabit 01, and I'll turn off the 012. So I need to configure the serial instead between the routers. So to do that, I'm going to go again. I'm going to start here. All right. I'm going to hit enter, and I int s0/0 instead. int s0/0/0. Then hit enter over here, and I'll type IP address, and the IP address that I want here is going to be for 00 to 00 down, so put 172.31.0.2 and 255.0.0.0. I hit enter, and oh, it said that the gigabit has 1. So although I removed it from the gigabit, it's still saying it. So we have to remove it from here completely and make sure the 0 doesn't have anything. This one is gig and has it. So we need to remove this one and turn off this one here. Okay. Okay, now it took it. Once we did that, let me try again. So I'll do int s0/0/0 and hit enter and do IP space. I may be able to recall that IP address, IP address space. Again, I am up here, and I'm assigning this IP address to the serial interface. My command will be 172.172.31.0.2 and 255 that class B 255.0.0. All right, hit enter, and IP address 172. What does it say? IP address 172.31. 172.31. Right, so again, I'll go to the computer. My packet trace is a little sluggish, a little bit down. So type in 192, 160.